My name is Bert, and this is the Still Life Podcast. Welcome back to another episode of the Still Life Podcast. As always, I'm your host, Bert. It was a pretty hot, steamy weekend out here in Kansas City, and that trend has continued today. Another hot day today. So, update on the job front? There is no update on the job front. Still in a holding pattern for everything, waiting to find that open door. Still looking at other jobs, postings, and stuff like that. And, it's getting to the point like I've done everything I can do. And it really makes me question, what I need to do or what the next step is for me to find the open door. I have a plethora of experience in sales, customer service, leadership, management, training, coaching, and all of these different areas, inventory, finances, things like that. But I don't have a degree. Is that the problem? I have, well over a decade of experience in all these other facets, but I don't have a degree. So is that the one thing that all these recruiters and HR people are looking for? Is it, this guy's really qualified, but he never went to college, so he's not going to be a good candidate? And let's be honest, that's a load of crap. I know a lot of people with college degrees that aren't that smart. And vice versa, I know a lot of people that don't have college degrees that are freaking brilliant. So just because you have a college degree doesn't make you any better than anyone else, except in the eyes of a company. And I just don't understand where that concept comes from, because it's a load of garbage. Just because someone went into debt to get a degree in something that's not even applicable to the job they're applying for 9 times out of 10, why does that make them a better candidate? I don't understand. Because you paid out all this money to a for-profit institution so that you could get a piece of paper that's written in fancy print? Who cares? I started working. I continued to work. I got a lot of very valuable experience, and I got paid for it. So really, at the end of the day, who's the smarter person? The one that paid to read books and write papers, or the one who got paid to learn and gain real-world experience? You tell me. And listen, that's not to knock people who pursued higher education. I believe there is value to it, but not for everybody. There's nothing out there that is for everybody, and college is definitely no exception to that rule. I've been to college several times, and every time I went, I realized, man, I don't like the way this is set up. This isn't for me. I ended up going to a technical school to get my brewing and fermentation science certificate because I didn't want to take all the BS English and math classes and all the other classes that I didn't need to work in the career field that I wanted to work in. And so that's the thing that frustrates me about, quote unquote, traditional college education, is that you're paying all this money to take classes that you don't really need to take, that aren't really applicable to most of life outside of schooling. And it drives me freaking crazy. Listen, I get it. Schools have to make money to keep the doors open, but I have a feeling you would attract a lot more students if you actually educated them according to the field that they want to enter. Don't make them take 2 years of nonsense classes. Oh, well, you got to take those in order to qualify for a bachelor's degree. Cool, have a 2-year bachelor's degree program and cut out all the BS. Because let's face it, that's purely profit, and most people are getting zero benefit from that after college. And the other issue I have, outside of the whole school thing, I've applied for several jobs that say they fall within, we're looking for veterans. We want to hire veterans. Well, there needs to be some fine print included with that. They want to hire veterans that have college degrees. They don't just want to hire any veteran. They want veterans with college degrees. So not only is it, you're appealing to all these veterans to apply, but then it's like, you don't have a college degree, so we're not really looking for your type. So you want officers, or you want mid and senior enlisted NCOs that have college degrees. So you're not looking for, any NCO that doesn't have a college degree. because to be an officer, you have to have a college degree unless you get a battlefield commission. Those are extremely rare. I'm not going to get into that. But for the most part, to be an officer, you have to have a college degree. To be enlisted, to be an NCO, sergeant, staff sergeant, sergeant first class, master sergeant, sergeant major, degrees aren't 100% required, although when you get to be a senior NCO, they are very strongly encouraged. So, it's like, oh, we want to hire veterans, but we only want veterans with degrees. Well, why does it matter if they're veterans then if you only want people with degrees? So don't say we love hiring veterans. We love hiring people with degrees. Be honest with yourself and be honest with the people that you're trying to attract. Don't waste people's time because it's incredibly frustrating. I don't know how many times I've applied for veteran programs with corporations only to be told, oh, well, we're sorry, you don't have a college degree. Well, you didn't say anything about that. You just said you were looking for veterans, and not only am I'm a veteran, I'm a disabled veteran. So that's a tax incentive to your company for hiring me. But because I don't have a college degree, again, I'm not valuable enough or worth the investment of your time for whatever reason. When I have, in many ways, a lot more potential than people who do have college degrees. Because again, a college degree doesn't make the person. Just because you have a degree doesn't mean you're better or you're smarter or you're a better worker or any of those things at all. So it's just, another one of those really frustrating things that I'm dealing with on this job search and on this hunt to find that open door for my career and what I'm going to be doing next. And I had a conversation the other day with a friend of mine about, cubicle life, working an office job, desk job, and a cubicle. And I had a lot of issues with that because, coming out of the military, it was, focus on the job at hand, get the job done, and then you can go do whatever you want. And I was extremely efficient at getting my tasks completed and completed very well. And transitioning into the corporate environment, I used to get reprimanded because I would be, oh, well, you're on your phone or you're surfing the internet or whatever. So yeah, all of my assigned tasks are done. So, nobody had anything else for me to do. So I'm waiting for another task, so give me more to do if you have a problem with that, because otherwise I've gotten my job done. It's not my fault that it only took me, 2 hours to get this job done, while it took other people 6 or 8 hours to get the job done. I don't want to waste time. I don't want to drag through stuff that I don't need to drag through. I want to get it done and I want to move on to the next thing. So, I found myself getting spoken to by management because it looked like I wasn't doing as much work as everybody else, when the fact of the matter was I was doing the same amount of work, if not more. I was just doing it in a much shorter time frame because I wasn't jacking around, and I had that conversation with a couple managers where, okay, look at my assigned tasks. They were all done, and they were all done to standard or better, were they not? Well, yes. Okay, then what's the problem? If you want me to do more work, then when I come and ask you what else I can do, give me something, or don't bother me, because I've gotten my job done. I don't want to drag things out any longer than I have to, and so I never really fit the corporate mold very well because of that fact. And so it became very frustrating, and it was like, well, how do I procrastinate, or how do I drag my feet, or how do I make this, 2-hour job take a full 8-hour day? And this shouldn't be about that at all. Companies are, they talk about, efficiency. But then when somebody's efficient, you have a problem with that. So there's this double standard as well of, well, we want you to be efficient, but if you're really efficient, you make everybody else look bad, and that's a problem. Well, you can't have it both ways. If you want me to be efficient, I'll be efficient. I'll get the job done in a very timely manner. If you don't want me to be efficient, then I'm probably not in the right place. And so there's been this constant struggle of, again, trying to find where I fit in. I'm willing to try anything, because that's really the only way to find out if you're going to like or enjoy most things, is to get in and try it. And I've taken a lot of crap for that in interviews. You've done all these different jobs and worked in all these different fields. Why is that? It's like, well, I enjoy learning new things. I enjoy challenges. And let's be honest, the only real way that you're going to find out if you like something or enjoy it or want to do it for any period of time is to jump in, get your feet wet, and try it. If I don't like it, I don't feel like I'm a good fit, I'm going to look for another opportunity somewhere else. But otherwise, what's the worst thing about that? Because to me, it's only a positive. Number one, I know I don't fit well in that industry or with that company. But number two, I'm still learning and growing from every single one of those experiences. And so I'm picking up these tools that I learn in each of these career fields, at each of these jobs, at each of these companies. I'm adding tools to my toolbox. My toolbox is continually growing. And as I move on to the next position, the next company, the next career field, I'm able to take those tools and apply them in ways other people can't. And so that's a massive advantage, but so many companies, so many HR people, so many headhunters have been trained that that's a negative trait, and we need to flip the script. And then on the other side of that, somebody with 15 or 20 years of experience, you want to pay $15 an hour for. Let's frickin' be realistic here. Nobody that has that much experience can generally afford to make $15 an hour. So you're going to have to pony up and pay people what they're worth. How hard is that? You can give your CEOs and your VPs millions of dollars in bonuses, but you can't pony up the money to pay somebody in a lower level what they're actually worth for the experience and for the job that they're doing. Get real. And that's a topic I could go on about for hours because it drives me absolutely insane to see companies post record profits, yet there's still so many people working for those companies that are struggling to get by. How is your company making so much freaking money, yet your employees are still struggling on a day-to-day basis? Think about that. And with that, I'd like to thank you for joining me today on the Still Life Podcast. As always, for questions, comments, topic ideas, suggestions, or if you'd like to become a sponsor of the Still Life Podcast, you can reach us, thestilllifepodcast@gmail.com. That's the Still Life Podcast@gmail.com. And don't forget to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube at the Still Life Podcast. Thanks again for joining me today on the Still Life Podcast. We'll talk again soon.